Be sure to give the video a thumbs up, share your insights in the comments, and subscribe to keep up with our newest narratives. It was an ordinary Tuesday afternoon when I first observed the shift. The sun lingered behind the clouds throughout the day, casting a gentle, almost wistful light through my kitchen window while I sat at the table, enjoying my coffee. At 46, I believed I had everything sorted, or at least, that was my conviction. A thriving profession, a cozy residence, a daily rhythm that offered a feeling of stability. Yet, recently, everything seemed to carry a touch of emptiness. As I began to drift into a daydream, a sudden knock at the door jolted me back to reality. The knock was unlike any other, tentative and uncertain, as if the person on the other side questioned their right to be there. As I swung the door open, I was greeted by Rachel, my neighbor, who stood there holding a small envelope in her hand. "Hey, I realized this might come as a surprise," she said, her voice trembling, "but there's something important I need to share with you." Rachel, much like myself, was in her late 40s, and we had shared the same neighborhood for roughly 5 years. We exchanged lighthearted chats across the fence, enjoyed the occasional cup of coffee together, and even traded recipes from time to time. I always perceived her as someone who seemed to have everything in order, refined, self-assured, and consistently wearing a friendly smile. Her presence was soothing, and there was a certain depth in her eyes that reassured me that everything would turn out fine. Yet, on that particular day, she seemed to possess an unusual quality. A weighty secret, one she struggled to conceal from view. I moved aside to welcome her in, gesturing for her to take a seat at the kitchen table. She paused briefly, her eyes flickering to the envelope she held, weighing the choice of whether to voice her thoughts. With a hint of hesitation, she finally spoke. "I wasn't sure if I should bring this up, but I trust you," as she slid the envelope toward me. I cast a fleeting look at it, merely a simple, unadorned envelope devoid of any markings or name. "I feel a bit lost and unsure of who to reach out to, but I have a sense that you might get it." I accepted the envelope from her, my intrigue ignited. I eased it open, carefully observing her response. Within lay a solitary folded sheet of paper. I opened it with great care, my pulse quickening as I absorbed the brief note. "Your assistance would be greatly appreciated. No one else can truly grasp it like you do. Your significance in my life is beyond what words can express. Kindly keep this to yourself." I'm at a loss for what to do next. I glanced at Rachel, who sat there with her hands neatly folded in her lap, her gaze averted from mine. She appeared delicate, exposed in a manner I had never encountered previously. "Rachel, what is this all about?" I inquired, my voice scarcely above a murmur, wary of shattering the palpable tension that lingered in the atmosphere like an impending storm. She inhaled deeply, her fingers quivering as she intertwined them. "It's a burden I've held for quite a while," she started, her voice gentle yet unwavering. "There's a secret I've kept hidden, even from my husband." The intensity of her gaze spoke volumes, hinting at the profound secret she was on the verge of sharing. And yet there was a subtle part of me that sensed a duty to listen, to comprehend. It seems I've been caught in a web of deception, if I may put it that way. I'm at a loss for how much longer I can maintain this facade of everything being okay. I have faith in you, and there's something important about my history that I want to share with you. It's a secret I've hidden away, something that remains unknown, even to those nearest to me. My heart pounded in anticipation as I awaited her next words. Uncertainty loomed, yet I sensed the significance of whatever lay ahead. This moment felt pivotal, destined to alter everything, our relationship, our friendship, and perhaps even my perception of her true self. Rachel paused once more, weighing her decision on whether to continue. It was evident that this was a struggle for her. Yet, I was aware she would stand her ground. She felt an urgent need to confide in someone. She craved to be acknowledged. A life I wished to keep hidden from everyone. However, I can no longer conceal it. Please grasp the importance of this matter. It's a shadow that has lingered over me for years. The impact of her revelation crashed over me like a tidal wave. I was completely in the dark about what she was going to express. Yet, I sensed the intensity of her feelings, the battle she had been enduring. This transcended mere secrecy. This encompassed years filled with suffering, remorse, and untold realities. "I can't quite put it into words," she said, her eyes brimming with tears. "However, I request that you refrain from passing judgment on me. I have erred. We would all participate. I've held on to this secret for such an extended period that I find myself questioning my own identity." The rawness in her voice resonated with me, the fissure of fragility that stirred a deep ache within my heart for her. This transcended mere revelation. It was an admission, a pivotal moment that could dismantle all we understood about one another. As I lingered in that moment, grappling with my thoughts, I sensed a transformation stirring inside me. The woman seated opposite me was more than merely my neighbor. She was a figure burdened by a history that eluded my understanding. And I sensed, deep within, that whatever unfolded next would alter the course of our lives irrevocably. The stillness enveloped us, dense and palpable, akin to a shroud that remained untouched by any hand. Rachel's words lingered in my thoughts, yet I found myself at a loss for a reply. How might I? The gravity of her revelation lingered in the air, slowly settling within her mind. Her secret was undoubtedly something that had been hidden away for years. And now it lay exposed, suspended between us like a delicate entity that could shatter with the slightest disturbance. I observed her intently, taking in the manner in which she attempted to steady herself, her fingers clutching the chair's edge as if it were a lifeline in that moment. I sensed her unease, her hesitation regarding my potential response. Yet, I stumbled upon another revelation, one that took me by surprise. A subtle resilience, a resolve to tackle her history, even if it required standing solitary. I adjusted in my seat, acutely aware of her eyes fixed upon me. Thoughts swirled in my head as I struggled to comprehend her words. She possessed a history prior to this existence, a narrative that was shadowy and far more intricate than I could ever conceive. But what could it have been? What was this hidden truth that had held her captive in silence all this time? "Rachel, you don't need to share everything at this moment," I said softly, my tone both tender and resolute. "However, I must seek clarity. I live next door. I have consistently stood by your side. I promise not to pass any judgment on you." Her eyes sparkled with appreciation, yet the weight remained heavy upon her shoulders. She inhaled deeply, and I could sense her summoning the resolve to press on. "I haven't always been the joyful, ideal partner you perceive today." She spoke, her voice quivering once more. "Prior to meeting Thomas and relocating here, I had been in a relationship with someone. A person who didn't align with my well-being. There was an individual who, to put it mildly, did not offer me the respect I rightfully earned." The words struck me profoundly. A part of me had anticipated something. Yet, this experience surpassed all my expectations. Her voice carried a weight of sorrow, an intensity that stirred deep emotions within me. I felt the urge to extend my support to her. Yet, I understood that this was a moment she had to express in her own way. I was innocent and inexperienced. Rachel pressed on, her gaze far away as if she were experiencing those years all over again. I found myself swept away by the thrill of someone who made me feel unique, who ignited a sense of vitality within me. Ultimately, it was nothing but a deception. I'm not quite sure how it unfolded, but I found myself entangled with someone who took advantage of me, who twisted my feelings to their benefit. The anguish was evident in her gaze. The manner in which she struggled to release the words was akin to extracting daggers from her very chest, each syllable a painful effort. I remained silent, allowing the moment to breathe without offering any comforting words. She didn't request that. She sought empathy. I was ready to offer it. Once that relationship came to a close, I believed I had moved on from it. I believed I could move on from it. However, I chose not to. It lingered in my mind. It lingered in my mind. Now, I see how it has influenced every aspect of my life since that moment. The bonds I share with my partner, my companions, and the connection I have with my own self. I took a deep breath, feeling my emotions welling up inside me. It transcended mere tales of betrayal or heartbreak. The narrative unfolds as a journey of personal revelation, centered on a woman who uncovers her true self after enduring significant losses throughout her path. I grasped that more clearly than I cared to acknowledge. I, too, faced my own struggles with identity, grappling with the expectations of who I thought I should be against the reality of who I truly am. But, Rachel, why at this moment? What makes you bring this up now, after all this time? I inquired, my tone laced with intrigue and worry. She paused briefly, her gaze wavering with doubt. Because, she murmured softly, I can't continue to flee from it. I've been concealing myself behind this ideal existence, this illusion I've crafted for my own defense. I can't continue like this. It transcends my own experience now. I have matters to address, issues that require resolution. I seek someone who can truly comprehend. Someone who sees me as whole and deserving. Her words pierced through me, reaching the core of my being that understood all too well the experience of donning a facade, concealing the turmoil within while projecting a cheerful exterior. It transcended a mere past error. The years had left an emotional imprint on her, one that weighed heavily on her spirit. The heaviness enveloped her, a relentless storm cloud that lingered, refusing to dissipate. I don't know what to do, Rachel murmured, her voice barely above a whisper. I find myself adrift, as if my sense of self has slipped away entirely. I extended my hand across the table, resting it softly on hers. Though it was a modest act, at that instant, it seemed like the most meaningful contribution I could offer. You're not alone, Rachel, I said, my tone calm yet compassionate. You haven't lost your way. Welcome. And that is what truly counts. You've made a significant move by expressing yourself. You possess a strength that surpasses your own understanding. She gazed at me, her eyes brimming with gratitude, yet also revealing another emotion, relief. As if a burden had been eased, even if just slightly. It may not have been the whole picture, but it marked the beginning. I can't predict what lies ahead, she confessed, but I'm finally prepared to confront it. I must confront my past instead of fleeing from it. I must own the decisions I've made and seek a path to progress. We lingered in quietude for a spell, allowing the unspoken thoughts to rest in the space between us. A change was palpable in the atmosphere, the delicate strain that had lingered between us for ages beginning to dissipate, even if only slightly. Rachel had no intention of seeking forgiveness. She wasn't seeking sympathy. She was merely seeking acknowledgement. For someone to recognize her beyond her past errors and to appreciate the bravery it required to confront those errors directly. I'm here for you, I murmured gently, my tone imbued with genuine warmth. Whenever you feel the urge to share, whenever you seek a listening ear, I will always be present. In that instant, a revelation struck me. This went beyond merely Rachel's secret. This narrative revolves around two women, two individuals, discovering connection, understanding, and respect in a world that frequently seemed isolating. It was a journey of uncovering the resilience to confront the past, to accept your authentic self, and to reconstruct from the fragments that endure. The days after our discussion seemed to blend together, an unusual combination of serene contemplation and careful hopefulness. Thoughts of Rachel occupied my mind more frequently than I was willing to acknowledge. Her revelation had etched itself into my mind, a mark that was difficult to erase. Her vulnerability was strikingly humbling, revealing the depth of trust she placed in me by sharing such an intimate aspect of her life. It prompted reflections on my own hidden truths, the aspects of myself I had concealed and buried, too fearful to face. Yet now it seemed distinct. Rachel's courage offered me a fleeting insight into a realm where truth and emotional transparency could thrive, if only for an instant. We had come to a mutual understanding to proceed gradually. The path before us was fraught with challenges, yet I could feel that Rachel had firmly resolved her course of action. She had decided that her past would no longer hold power over her. She was prepared to emerge from the darkness, ready to own the decisions she had made, and above all, she was set to begin her journey of healing. As the days unfolded, I observed her intently. Within her, there was a subtle power, an evolution that eluded my understanding, yet I sensed its presence. She was starting to awaken once more, not as the person concealed behind a facade, but as someone who was finally permitting herself to be present and unreservedly authentic. One evening, while I sat on my porch with a cup of tea, Rachel approached, her demeanor noticeably more at ease than it had been previously. Her smile radiated warmth, yet her eyes, those captivating eyes, whispered a contrasting tale. Amidst the lingering uncertainty, a flicker of hope emerged, a quality I had yet to witness in her. "Hey," she murmured gently, lingering at the base of my stairs, pausing for just a heartbeat before making her ascent. "Would it be all right if I joined you?" I gestured warmly with my hand. "Absolutely." I was simply relishing the tranquility. "Please come upstairs." She smiled, her steps feeling a touch more buoyant than usual as she ascended the stairs. As she took her place in the chair beside me, silence enveloped us for a moment. It felt like she was piecing together her reflections, searching for the perfect expressions to convey her message. It was evident that she had something significant weighing on her thoughts. "I've been pondering quite a bit," she started, gazing out at the modest yard that lay between our houses. The gentle wind stirred the foliage, producing a soothing, melodic whisper. "Concerning all matters. Regarding what I've shared with you, concerning the past and what lies ahead." I remained calm, allowing her to dictate the rhythm. "I believe it's time for a genuine transformation," she declared, her tone filled with determination. I've been sheltering myself behind this barrier, persuading myself that I was unworthy of anything beyond what I possessed. However, I have gained a deeper understanding now. I am entitled to happiness, just as everyone else is. I am entitled to tranquility, and I have the right to lead a life that isn't governed by the decisions of my past. Her words crashed over me like a powerful tide, enveloping me with such force that I nearly lost my breath. It was akin to listening to someone unveil the essence of their being. It filled me with wonder. How could anyone have shouldered that weight for so long and emerged on the other side with such insight? "I can't predict how it will turn out," she said, shifting her eyes in my direction. "I'm uncertain whether Thomas will grasp it or if anyone else will either. Yet, I can no longer exist within this cocoon of anxiety and embarrassment. It's time for me to release what I've been clinging to, even if it means stepping away from everything I believe to be true." A wave of pride washed over me for Rachel, for the woman who was finally embracing her true self. It was never about the opinions of others or their potential reactions. It revolved around what she required to regain her sense of completeness. "I believe I need to step back from it all," she murmured after a moment of silence, her voice soft and tentative, "just for a short time. Perhaps embark on an adventure. Empty my mind. Discover my true desires, rather than what I believe I should desire." Her words carried a sense of freedom intertwined with a touch of melancholy. It was clear to me that Rachel had been navigating through life on autopilot for an extended period, existing in a reality that didn't truly belong to her. This journey, whatever it may be, would mark the initial stride toward uncovering her true self, hidden beneath the burdens of fear and regret. And that was something I truly respect. "Rachel," I said softly, "I believe that's a fantastic idea. You truly merit that time. It's time for you to rediscover who you truly are." She smiled, yet a certain fragility flickered in her eyes, an unvoiced inquiry hanging in the air between us. "Are you truly confident that I can accomplish this?" she inquired, her tone gentle and hesitant. I extended my hand, gently resting it on hers, anchoring her in the present. "I believe in your abilities. You're in good company with this. I'm available for anything you require." A delicate, sorrowful smile flickered at the edge of her mouth. "Thanks a lot. Your support truly means the world to me." We lingered in quietude for a moment, the gentle evening light enveloping the yard in a tender radiance. The world seemed to pause, as if time itself had halted to grant us this serene moment of contemplation. At times, Rachel whispered, "I ponder whether I've forfeited all that I ever desired. However, I'm beginning to feel that something greater is within my reach. Something genuine. A little something just for myself." Her words echoed profoundly in my soul. Rachel was a sight I had never witnessed before, not even during her initial arrival in the neighborhood all those years back. A fresh spark ignited within her gaze, a resolve to embrace life fully rather than merely exist. With a quiet voice, I expressed my pride, a lump forming in my throat. You possess more strength than you realize. Her smile grew wider, and in that instant, I realized she was beginning to embrace it as well. As Rachel rose to depart, she lingered at the threshold of my home, glancing back to meet my gaze. "Thank you for your attention," she said gently, "and for your support during this time. I realize I've held back much from you, but I feel I can no longer bear this weight by myself." "You never have to," I replied, my gaze following her as she melted into the shadows, the serene whisper of the night enveloping her in a gentle embrace. I lingered in that space long after she had departed, contemplating the journey Rachel had undertaken. The journey before her would be challenging, yet it was her own to navigate, and I was certain she was prepared to confront whatever lay ahead. The secret she had concealed for ages was finally free from its burden. It held the promise of the future she was meant to embrace. The days that came after Rachel's choice to step back were steeped in a subtle unease. I could feel the shifts in her, even though she hadn't come back from her journey yet. She maintained communication, sending brief notes every few days to inform me of her advancements. Every piece she crafted felt like a triumph, a testament to her reclaiming her life, and at last granting herself the liberation she had yearned for over the years. One afternoon, roughly a month after she had left, I got a call from her. When she spoke, her voice carried a distinct quality. It conveyed a distinct sense of clarity and purpose that was entirely new to me. "I'm back," she declared, her voice unwavering yet brimming with feeling. "I believe I've unraveled the entire mystery." The nuances in her words revealed the depth of thought and emotion she had navigated during her time apart. I was certain she had faced the issues she had long hidden away, the very things that had been holding her back from progressing. "I've made the choice to leave," she said, a gentle laugh slipping from her mouth. "It's time for me to begin anew, to embrace a life that is authentically my own. I have secured a location. It may not be a lot, but it suffices for me at this moment." My heart brimmed with pride for her. The weight of this decision is beyond comprehension, parting from a place that once brimmed with countless memories, a mix of sorrow and sweetness intertwined. At last, she was embracing a future that belonged solely to her. "That's incredible, Rachel," I exclaimed, my voice trembling with emotion. "I'm absolutely thrilled for you. I can't imagine what I would have done without you," she said, her voice soft yet heartfelt. "Your support has illuminated the fact that my past does not define me. I am not defined by my past errors or the identity I once believed I needed to adopt. I am who I am, and that is sufficient." Those words, "I'm me and that's enough," lingered in the air like a gentle melody that resonated softly in my thoughts long after we had ended the call. Rachel had ultimately discovered her tranquility, her sense of value. She had accepted the essence of her being, liberated from the weight of shame and fear. A few days later, Rachel stopped by to bid farewell. She stood before my house, a small suitcase clutched in her hand, her stance both confident and at ease. The woman who had entered my life all those months ago, weighed down by secrets and regrets, had transformed completely. She was a fresh presence, a person who had discovered the courage to release the past and embark on a new journey. "Thank you," she murmured gently as I opened the door, "for everything. I recognize that I've been aloof and have held back from you, yet you remained by my side, even when I felt unworthy of your presence." I moved closer and wrapped my arms around her, savoring the moment as I felt the warmth of her change enveloping us both. I had always sensed there was a depth to Rachel that she kept hidden from the world, and now I was observing the woman she had transformed into, one who was finally liberated, finally complete. "I will miss you, Rachel," I said, my voice heavy with feeling, "but I understand this is the right choice for you. Embrace the freedom to shape your existence as you see fit." She smiled, a subtle yet sincere smile that mirrored the woman I had grown to understand deeply, the woman I respected more than I had ever acknowledged. "I'll keep in touch," she said, her eyes sparkling with optimism. "And perhaps our paths will cross once more in the near future. However, this time, it will be according to my own conditions." I observed her departure, suitcase in tow, moving toward the future she had long evaded. As she vanished into the distance, a wave of tranquility enveloped me. The Rachel I had encountered all those months back was no longer the same. She had transformed into someone who had discovered her authentic self, someone who had mastered the art of releasing the past and welcoming the uncertainties ahead. As I stood on my porch, observing her disappear into the horizon, I recognized the profound growth I had undergone through this journey as well. Observing Rachel face her history and embrace what lies ahead has imparted lessons beyond my wildest expectations. It served as a poignant reminder that we all bear our own weights, yet we need not shoulder them in solitude. At times, confronting the truth can be our greatest challenge. Yet, upon achieving that, liberation awaits us. Ultimately, Rachel's secret was not merely a catalyst for her own transformation, it profoundly impacted my life as well. I will forever hold gratitude for that.